In this short tutorial, we will show you how to calculate the marginal propensity to consume from a table of values. First, though, we need to take a minute and review what the formula is for the marginal propensity to consume, or the MPC. The formula for calculating the marginal propensity to consume, or MPC, is C2 minus C1 divided by Y2 minus Y1. The C's represent a level of consumption, and the Y's represent a level of income. The procedure for calculating the marginal propensity to consume is 1. Write the formula for the marginal propensity to consume, which is MPC is equal to C2 minus C1 divided by Y2 minus Y1. 2. Select the level of income for Y2 and label it as Y2. Substitute in the value selected for Y2 into the formula. 4. Select the level of income for Y1 and label it as Y1. 5. Substitute the value you selected for Y1 into the formula. 5. Label the level of consumption associated with Y2 as C2. Substitute the value you selected for C2 into the formula. Select the level of consumption associated with Y1 and label it as C1. Substitute the value you selected for C1 into the formula. Subtract C1 from C2. Select Y1 from Y2. Divide the difference between C2 and C1 by the difference in Y2 and Y1, and then write the interpretation of the calculation. So the first step is look at our table, and you'll notice that there are 3 columns. The Y table represents a level of income, the consumption column represents a level of consumption, and the savings columns represents a level of savings. The sum of consumption and savings should always equal the person's total income. The first level of income, you will notice, has a 0 in it, a consumption of 30, and a savings of minus 30. Remember, this is this idea of autonomous consumption. That is, a person who is consuming but has no income. In this case, this person is consuming $30 worth of goods and services, and he or she is getting that money from their bank account. Now let's suppose for a minute that they get a job paying $100 per week. So their second level of income is going to be $100, and if we look in the consumption column, we see that they consume $100. If we look in the savings column, we notice that this is 0. So what this is saying is that the person is consuming all $100 of their income and is not saving anything. We go down to the next level of income, $200 per week. We notice that the person spends $170 of it and saves $30 of it. When this person's income increases to $300 a week, they spend $240 of it and save $60 of it. When this person earns $400, they consume $310 worth of goods and services and save $90. When this person's income reaches $500, they spend $380 and they save $120. And when this person earns $600 per week, they spend $450 and save $150. And finally, when this person's weekly income goes up to $700, they consume $520 worth of goods and services, and they save $180. Also notice that we put down the formula. The marginal propensity to consume is equal to C2 minus C1 divided by Y2 minus Y1. So our first step is to choose a value for Y2. This could be any one of those income levels. In this case, or in this example, I have selected $500. And we're going to substitute in the 500 into the formula. Our next step is to select a level for Y1. In this case, I selected $200, but it could be any of the other income levels other than the 500, which we've already selected, and we substitute in $200 for Y1 into the formula. Next, we're going to select a level of consumption for C2, and this one we're sort of forced to make the choice of 380 because we have selected 500 to be our second level of income, or our Y2. So we're going to substitute in the C2 in the table into C2 into the formula, which means we're going to take the $380 that is in the table and put it into the formula for C2. Our next step is to choose a level of C1. Once again, we are compelled to choose 170 because we have already selected the level of income for Y1 to be $200. We're going to then substitute in 170 into the formula. Our next step is to subtract from $380 $170, which gives us $210. Our next step is to subtract the two levels of income, $500 and $200. That is, we're going to subtract from $500 $200, giving us $300. Our next step is to divide 210 by 300, and this gives us 0.70. Our final step will be to write a short sentence describing what that 0.70 or that 7/10 of a dollar represents. The final thing that we need to do to finish this problem is to interpret our results. The interpretation of the result is that this person, whose levels of income are illustrated in the table above, spends on average 70 cents of each additional dollar he or she earns.